Hey there, it's Kathy Howes with Be Creative with Kathy. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Denver, Colorado, and I like to do videos to show you new techniques, just different cards and stuff like that. And I think I have a really nice card for you today. I'm involved in a demonstrator swap. Every time a new calendar comes together, or comes out, I'm sorry, a few of us get together and we do a swap. We don't get together, but we do this swap. And so when I get my swaps back, I'll be sure and show them to you. They're not due till the middle of June or something like that, so I have a little bit of time. But let me show you what my swap looks like. So I'll show you what it looks like. It looks like this. Isn't that cute? I love this designer series paper. Now this is that Fresh as a Daisy. It comes in 12 by 12, of course, like all of our designer series paper. It's double-sided. And on one side, it's kind of brushstroke kind of stuff, but look how pretty that is. And then on the other side, you get all these really pretty patterns. And let me show you, I want to just share with you one of my favorites in here, if I can find it here, because it doesn't look like much like this, but then look how pretty. And I've kind of been hoarding it so I can make some cards out of it, but I think that's my favorite piece in that designer series paper. Anyway, so I've cut my designer series paper down already, and it looks going to look like that. So the other item I'm going to use is a new to the Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog. Well, both the designer series paper, and these are new dies. I think it's easier for you to see in the catalog than my set of dies. Let me show them to you on page 164, I think. Nope. 167 are these dies right here, and they're just layering words. I love this. This is the fad right now, but to put the the solid down and then the words on top, so it has all kinds of dies in there. You're too kind, happy birthday, feel better soon, and celebrate. And then the nice surprise is it has all these little pieces here. So there's like, this looks like a present. I guess it could be Christmas. A little bow, some stars, the stem, the flower, and then some hearts. So that's what we're going to use to make our card too. Okay, so let's start with some die cutting. So I'll get out the pieces we need. We're going to do a happy birthday card. So I'm going to get, this is the outline for the happy birthday, looks like that. And then of course the happy birthday, we're going to put a little stem on our card and that little flower. See, and then there's even more back here. It's just a lot of dies. It's a really nice set. I have a feeling I'll be using this a lot. Okay, then I have a scrap here of, let's see, garden green, basic white, and then I have a piece of early espresso here, and the early espresso I have put on a adhesive sheet on the back. Now if you've never worked with adhesive sheets, I would go to my YouTube video or YouTube channel, Be Creative with Kathy, and I did a video showing you how I put that sticky stuff on the back. But that has adhesive on it. We're going to need that. And then I have a piece of crushed curry here, and I know this is 2 inches by 3.5. Now, all my measurements will be on my blog, BeCreativeWithKathy.com, and the link will be below. Because sometimes, well, I say stuff and it's just not right. I think I get nervous on camera like this. And so sometimes you can't trust what I say. That's not good to admit, is it? Okay, we're going to do our guide cutting. Like I said, I'm going to use my mini little blue machine here. Now, if you want a blue machine, believe it or not, they're still available. You can get one at my online store. Okay, so I have my plates. I'm going to go 1 and then plate number 2. And the first thing I'm going to do is lay that crushed curry on there, and then that outline happy birthday in the center. I am going to use just a little bit of washi tape, if I can get it here, to hold that down. I don't want that to move around like at all. And now on this piece, we're going to use the outside, not the inside. So when I put my washi tape, I'm going to make sure it sticks more toward the inside of the cardstock, just in case it ruins my paper when I take it off. I hope that makes sense. But that looks pretty centered in there. We'll just run that through here real quick. And then we have our piece here. And then don't lose, we need this little piece here. And we're going to use this one more time too. So make sure you hang on to all 3 pieces of that. Then let's go ahead and do our little flower. I'll set that on my little scrap of white. set this on some of that garden green. I'm going to stagger my plates a little bit. Sometimes that makes it easier to go through the machine. Although today it doesn't look like I'm having any trouble. Now let me show you a little trick. When your dies and your paper are stuck together, if you just bounce them on a hard surface, that's the easiest way to get those out, especially little dies like this. Let's see if that one, nope, this one's not gonna cooperate like that one did. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so then we have our little flower. We don't need his little inside. And then last, I'm gonna take, and I hope I cut this, I did cut it down so it could fit through my die cut machine like this. Okay, and then we're gonna lay our happy birthday right there on top of that. I'm gonna stagger, let me scoot it down a little bit, stagger my plates a little bit so it goes through easier. And now because this is doubled layered with that adhesive sheet, I'm gonna just go forward in my machine and then back, just to make sure it gets a nice cut on there. You can see it's cut all the way through. Then I'm going to cut out 2 of these. So let me quickly just take a pair of snips here, and I'm going to cut this down. So I have 1, and now let me run it through my machine again. And again, I'm going to go forward and then back, just to make sure I get a good cut on that paper since it's pretty thick. Okay, now I think we have all of our die cutting done. Push those aside. Let's bring in and do some stamping now. So I have two pieces of basic white. We're just going to stamp on the inside. So this is your normal 5 1/4 by 4. And I'm going to use, maybe I don't have, yes I do, that Oops-a-Daisy, just wishing you the brightest birthday. And then I'm going to stamp a little flower here, a stem, and the top to the flower. So I'm going to use Early Espresso ink for my sentiment and for my flower. Let's see if I can stamp straight today, huh? So I'm going to take that, wishing you the brightest birthdays. Let that ink sink in. I'm not applying a lot of pressure, I'm just holding it firm. Ooh, nice, okay. And then that little flower. And I'm going to tilt my flower just somewhat like, let's say that. Let that ink sink in. There we go. Now the little top to my flower, I'm going to use Crushed Curry. And I'm just using colors that are in the Designer Series paper. Got that little top to the flower here. And I'm going to kind of just rotate it till I think it looks the right shape. Make sure I can see a little bit of my flower through. There we go. Looks pretty good. And then last, I'm going to use Garden Green. Let me find a scratch paper here. This one's terrible, but it'll work. And I'm going to just lay it on this corner so when I go off the paper, I don't get ink onto my Pierce mat. And I'm going to just stamp that, let that ink sink in too. And just like that, there's the inside of my card. And while we have it here, let's go ahead and just put it on the inside. Now that's all the stamping we're going to do. This is a piece of Early Espresso. It's just your normal card base, half a sheet of cardstock, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And let's take some adhesive here, and I'm going to just put on the back of my cardstock. Oh, that one's out. This one has some. This one's brand new, and he's not. Oh, there he goes. Nice and smooth now. Okay, and lay this on the inside of our card here. And then let's go ahead and put our Designer Series paper on the front. Now my Designer Series paper is just your normal card or layer 5 1/4 by 4. Make sure you cut it landscape and not portrait so it goes the right direction as our card. Our card's going to go like this. Okay, now on that second piece of white, now this one is just 1/8 of an inch bigger than our Crushed Curry. So let's do some math. It's going to be 2 1/8 by 3 5/8. But again, it'll be on my blog. You don't have to remember. You can just go there and see. Using liquid glue because we have that itty bitty border. Oh, and I should have, it's almost on its last limb. But I like when Tombow is running low, then you don't get overkill. And maybe I waited. I should have checked my glue before. There we go. It's a little clogged. Okay, now he's happy. Here we go. But I'm going to put a liquid glue, making sure I get these little pieces that go in. Try to get all the little nooks and crannies here. Kind of close to the edges. Up in here. Whoop. Fell in the little. There we go. Okay, now I can slide this into place onto my basic white here. Like, and then make sure that we stick down these pieces there. Okay, then I'm going to take that happy birthday that we cut out of there. I'm going to set that back in there, and now I can see like a puzzle where this little piece right here goes. Let me get my take a pick tool ready, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put some adhesive or this liquid glue right here in this section, and then pick that up and just set it in there. And I'm going to hold it in there just for a second or two and make sure it dries and gets stuck down, because we need that little piece in there. Okay, now let's take this back out. Now we don't need this. I'd save this just for another project. Alrighty, now we're doing good here. Now that we have these pieces as a sticker, I'm going to just take, I'm not going to bother to punch them out or anything of the big sheet. I'm going to just remove, maybe I am. No, I am. Of course, it's always easier, there we go, when you're not on a video. But I'm going to just remove this piece of cardstock. Now, I've discovered it's easier if you kind of roll your cardstock like this, and then those little pieces stay to the release paper. Now, I noticed that both of my peas have that little piece there, so now instead they're stuck to my finger. But now I can take my happy here and lay it right here in my card. Nice. Let's do the same thing with the birthday now. I'm going to roll it again very carefully. Oh, and I see it missed my H, so I have to get that out right here. And we'll stick that to the same finger so I can clean that finger up later. And I'm going to lay this down the same way. Now, to reposition, I've realized on that basic white, it's pretty easy. If you lay it down crooked or not quite where you want it, you can still lift it up. Well, not after you put it all down, but you can reposition if you haven't laid it all down. That makes it a lot easier. But let's do that one more time. This is why I cut out 2. I want that happy birthday to pop, but I didn't want to have to put it on dimensionals because it's such a fine, oh, it's a small piece. I can't do 2 things at once, and I can't seem to get this one started. Of course, when I made all my other swaps, because I've done all 12 of my swaps, there we go. It was easier, but I'm going to roll it again. This time, I'm going to kind of work on getting those little pieces out of my, there we go, of the pea as I go. And I got all the little pieces out. Let's just layer this right on top. Now, I've noticed that the adhesive sheets stick more, or quicker, I guess, to the brown on brown, and that you have a little bit more trouble. But look how easy it lays down on there. Maybe you won't even have to reposition it. Let's do the second, or the same thing with the second birthday. And again, I'm going to take that cardstock and I'm going to kind of roll it. Try to leave behind. Let's get that H. This one stuck last time. Leave him there. There we go. And then I just have my Y. Whoops, and we'll stick that down to my finger again. And now let's layer this on top of this birthday. And then as easy as that, look how pretty. Now just a tap here, get some of those paper shreds. If there's some places, oh, look, my T is not on there. Let's see if I can, yep, scoot him over just a little bit. Now he's perfect. But I can take and scrape those little shards of paper up there and make it look crisp and clean. And then another little tap. All right, and we got those off there. Let me see if I can get these little shards of paper off my finger. Now they're just stuck to my other finger, but let's go ahead and finish our card. On the back of this piece, I'm going to just put some dimensionals and pop that up. Lay this down like this. Try to get it straight on there. Let me get my head in the camera real quick. I think I want it a little bit higher. I think I want it right there. There, that looks good. That looks really good. Okay, so when you put your adhesive sheets onto your cardstock is 12 inches. Your adhesive sheet is your cardstock is 11 inches. Your adhesive sheet is 13 inches. So you have about an inch left like this. And I'll show you how you can use this piece too. So I'm going to take some of that adhesive backing off like this, and I'm going to just take my leaf off my stem here and kind of lay it down on that adhesive. And now I've got some adhesive, although I lied, it didn't stick to my stem, my leaf. I'm going to put some pressure on there. There we go. And now you can see the adhesive sticking. This one's almost gone. I should have went with the other end. But now I have some sticker, very sticky, on the back of my stem here, and I'm going to just lay it down just like that. Now on the front, they get that adhesive on the front, it just rolls right off. You can clean it off just by rubbing and getting those rolls and then roll them right off. And look there, I have my flower or my stem on there. Let's do the same thing with the flower. I'm going to go to this side, try to remove that backing. There we go, and take that flower piece, and I'm going to just stick it down. Now we have lots of adhesive on our flower, and I'm going to put that, making sure that I see that little stem, or just position where I want it, and look how cute. Now that's how you can use those little pieces of scraps of adhesive sheets. And they feel messy, but you roll your fingers and all of that adhesive just rolls right off. Okay, we need last thing on our card here. I'm going to use some of these 2023 through 2025 in color dots. And I'm going to grab, let me see if my take a pick tool. Nope, it did looky there. And get that and stick that right in the center, just like that. So there you go. There is my swap. I've got them all ready. Look how many I've made already. There, my adhesive sheet. All ready to go. Look at all my swaps for the demonstrator swap. I really like this card. I think it turned out. I think it's because of this layering happy birthday right here and a unique way to use it. Let me show you some other swaps now. I do videos every Monday, and last Monday I showed you that I did this card, right? And I promised you I would show you the swaps from this demonstrator meeting. So this was my swap. This swap here was Kathy Hansen's. Look how pretty that is. Just using some of that designer series paper. Now I believe this was the Stampin' Up! Designer series paper that retired, but with just a simple 1 1/4 inch square, and she made that card front. Look how pretty that card is. It was supposed to be a masculine swap, which is very pretty and masculine at the same time. Now this is Janet's swap using that Aspen die. Looks like that. Is that not pretty? And then this is from the paper pumpkin. So that was Janet's swap, another masculine card. And then this one was Cindy's swap. Look how she used the torn paper technique and then ran through that through the embossing folder just to give it some dimension and some character on her card. And the inside looks like that. And then our fearless leader, who is Terry, had the make and take, and this is what we did for our make and take. And there you go. So as promised, there are our swaps from our Kindred Inker meeting. When I get the swaps from this swap, I'll be sure and share those with you too. Thanks for watching. Have a great, I almost couldn't remember what day, Memorial Day. I hope that you're all blessed this weekend. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.